Hey guys, Razorblade Mango here, joined by Mario again, and time for Square Enix. And they, bless their soul, opened up with Final Fantasy VII Remake, which looks really fucking good. I was really happy with what they showed. And I hope they don't fuck it up, because I'm going to be heartbroken if they fuck it up. I liked what I saw. I like that it's not a battle system like Kingdom Hearts, where it's just hack and slash. I like that there's actual like tactics and strategy to it. It slows down time so you can pick your moves. Tifa looks amazing. The wait for her was totally worth it. The music sounds incredible as always. I did not know at the time. I did not know that the guy literally meant the game was going to come on 2 discs. I thought he meant like remake itself, like the whole thing would be like 2 separate games. I didn't know that this was going to be like Red Dead Redemption 2 level of like storage that I'm going to have to make on my PS4.
You're fucked.
I'm fucked because I haven't installed my 2 terabyte hard drive yet.
Oof.
I only have my 1 terabyte that I have for the Pro.
Oof. Well, yeah, because he said. I remember when he said 2 discs, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And I'm amazed that you didn't caught that.
I didn't catch that.
He said literally 2 discs, and I was like, "What?" Two. I'm like, okay. Red Dead was like 95 gigs, right?
Yeah.
95 gigs.
Jeez,
You talking about 2? So what? This is like what? 150 gigs, 180 gigs of like.
Probably, I don't know about that, but probably like in the 90s, probably. Considering all the
For
detail,
one
game, the detail is insane on it. Like, I don't normally go
also,
on about the graphics.
this is something about like the first disc. You're playing it all in Midgar, right?
Yeah, this first game is all Midgar, which is like the opening 5 hours of the game. Like 4 to 5 hours is in Midgar, depending on how much you explore, of course. So I have to wonder, and this is where I have a lot of concerns about this, and I have a lot of questions for Square Enix. Most of which I'm sure Square Enix doesn't even know the answer to themselves. But right now, I am excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I am, because it looks really good. I just am concerned with how much Square Enix is going to ride this thing. Like, how many games are we getting out of this? Like, 5? I'm going to be sick to death of it by the time the 3rd game is announced. You know, if it's great, if they're all consistently great, fine. And they've said all of them are going to be the length of a regular Final Fantasy game. So I'm expecting like a 60, 70 hour plus fucking game just set in Midgar. Which, I don't know how that's going to go, considering like a big appeal of Final Fantasy VII is going outside of Midgar and exploring the world and stuff. I don't know how that's going to go. Like, I guess they're just going to make completely new areas up for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go, but I'm excited to try it. I've heard it's really good from the people that have gotten their hands on it.
Lucky bastard.
Lucky fucks. I'm really excited to try it out. But I'm March 3rd. That's when it's coming. I can't believe it's coming that close. Like, I thought it would be delayed till like next year fall time. Be like a cross-gen thing. This March. Wow.
It's happening.
That's happening. Shit. Wow.
Thank God for not the fucking November release.
I was gonna be furious if they brought Final Fantasy VII Remake in November. I was gonna just no. Alright, then they moved on to Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which is gonna be coming out, which is cool. Then they did Octopath Traveler for on PC. I'm not a big fan of the game, but I'm happy for the people that love it, that want to play it on PC. Good for them. Happy it sold well. Square Enix needs more games like it. Last Remnant Remastered, which I've never played, but I've always wanted to, so this is a good excuse. Dragon Quest Builders 2, which is... I'm looking forward to trying the demo. I love the first Dragon Quest Builders. I'm a big fan of it, but
it's being developed by...
It's not being developed by Square Enix. The first one was developed by Square Enix. This one is being developed by Omega Force, who are the guys behind Dynasty Warriors, which... Yeah, if you've seen how many games these guys have made over the years, especially with Dynasty Warriors, you know to be really skeptical about what they do nowadays. Even when they're working with an established property. And this is not a hack and slash. This is a building game. This is like a big building game with friends. So this is something completely outside their usual forte. I don't trust that they're going to be able to do it justice. I think I'm just going to have to stick with the first Dragon Quest builders on this one. Which makes me sad, because I've been looking forward to Dragon Quest Builders 2 for like a year and a half now. And I did not know Omega Force was behind it until recently. And then they did Dragon Quest 11S, which... You know, I'm really excited to play that on the Switch. We'll talk more about that later in Nintendo. They're doing Circuit Superstars, which is some kind of like car game from Square Enix. Okay. Final Fantasy, they showed the new Shadowbringers expansion for 14, Realm Reborn, which looks cool. I wish that was its own Final Fantasy game. I wish that was like Final Fantasy 16 or something. Why can't they just have the guy behind 14 make it? There's two people at Square Enix that I want to make a Final Fantasy game. I want the guy behind Final Fantasy 14 to make his own game. And I want Yoko Taro, who's the guy behind Nier Automata, to make a Final Fantasy game.
Who's the guy that made Final Fantasy 10?
I think that was Kitase. I'm pretty sure that was Kitase. Dying Light 2. Talk about Dying Light 2 while I look up who directed Final Fantasy 10.
Adam didn't like the first one.
No, I don't.
He doesn't. I bought that day one. I played it with the while ago. Yeah, we had fun. The story was very predictable.
Story was shit.
Can't believe that was Roger Craig Smith voicing the character. I was like, Ezio, what are you doing here?
Yeah, Kitase directed that.
So, the second one looks a little bit more interesting, but I can't say any more because we don't know how it's gonna be.
I didn't like any of the trailers that they showed this year. I liked what even with my dislike of the first one, I didn't like either of the trailers they showed. They showed one off at Microsoft's conference, and then they showed another one off here. And I was just like, I don't get a sense of how much this... Like the last one, last year was much better, because that gave us an idea of what it was like. And this one was just like mood trailers. And I'm like, I don't care about this mood shit. Like, don't give me this. Give me gameplay. They didn't show gameplay. Again. Running theme. Again. No gameplay. At least I think they might have actually in the Microsoft one, but I don't remember. Then they're releasing Romancing Saga 3 and Scarlet Grace, which are two JRPGs coming to the West, which is nice. They're doing more stuff with the Final Fantasy mobile game. Nah. Then they announced a new game from the guys behind Bulletstorm called Outriders. I have no idea what it is, and I do not care, because it is another multiplayer shooter game. Another co-op multiplayer shooter. We saw no gameplay. All we got was these guys talking about, oh, this game is dynamic, and it's amazing and great. But we can't see how amazing and dynamic it is. Sorry. What did you think of Outriders?
What?
Do you remember Outriders?
I think this is. I think at that moment it was when I
Zoning out?
No, I wasn't zoning out. I was deafened because Michael called me. Remember?
Oh yeah.
And I can hear you guys in the background. You're like, "What the hell is this shit?" And I was like, the way you were just describing, you're like, meh.
Yeah. Then they're doing Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, which good. Final Fantasy VIII's a good game. It deserves to be remastered alongside all the other ones.
Can we get a remake for 10?
That would be great. I'd love a remake of 10. I'd love a remake of 9. 9, because 9 is better than Final Fantasy 7. And then they ended it with the big wet fart of the evening, which was Avengers.
Assemble.
Okay. I'll be the first one to admit that I was not all that interested in Avengers. I'll be the first one to admit that. With that being said, I still went into it with like a small nugget of interest. Like, okay, if they show me something that's really good, I might buy into this whole Avengers thing. And they just did their... Square Enix and Marvel did a phenomenal job of just like killing any potential hope I have for this game or any interest. Because it's yet another fucking live service where fucking they're talking the whole thing about how, oh, the launch of this game is just the beginning and we're gonna have all the characters and scenarios be free. And because this is modern video gaming and we can't have nice things without some kind of catch, of course there is going to be some kind of catch with Avengers, and there is indeed a catch because it is getting microtransactions. We haven't seen any raw gameplay of it from the public, but we know that there's microtransactions in it. We know more about the monetization of this game than we know more about how it plays.
And who are the voices?
Well, we know who the voices are. It's like a star-studded cast of a star-studded cast.
Literally, it's like...
Nolan North, Troy Baker, Travis William, Laura Bailey. We're huge. Like, all 5... Well, who's the... There was another one I didn't recognize, but... Yeah, Troy Baker and Nolan North. They're like the Mount Rushmore. Part of the Mount Rushmore of voice actors nowadays. And... I just was like, oh, okay, cool. And then they're like, oh, there's going to be no loot boxes or pay-to-win scenarios. Hooray.
Something that shouldn't even be there in the beginning we're talking about.
Yeah, a round of applause for the bare minimum, guys. Basic human decency of not including gambling shit in an Avengers game aimed at children. Hooray. Even like the small bit of gameplay that we got, like gameplay, and I put that in quotes, I was not all that impressed. I was just like, okay, and the way they're making it sound, it's like Destiny. And I don't mean Destiny in the way that like Anthem is Destiny. I mean Destiny in a way that's another like ongoing live service where it feels like the multiplayer is going to be the big focus because that's where the monetization is going to come in, and like the campaign's going to be there, but it feels like it's going to be an excuse to just push people to play online and whatever. And I'm just kind of like, whatever. I don't care. I don't care about Avengers anymore.
I didn't really care in the beginning.
Yeah,
I didn't care about it because I had a feeling something was gonna happen.
That's always the catch with these things.
That's the one, especially from Square Enix, because you don't know what.
Yes.
You don't know what's gonna happen, especially when Square Enix with what? Wow. What was it?
They did
Thief.
They did
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Just Cause 4.
Oh yeah, I forgot that even exists.
Yeah, because it just went under a rock and disappeared.
Well, Square Enix, like, the frustrating thing about this conference, it's like they're doing like you know, there's another game that they're doing that I'll talk about in the Nintendo one. Is like they're doing stuff that I've asked them to do, and I'm like, okay, like do these things that I have asked you to do, and you will make money. But that's not good enough because we now have to dip our toe into the live service crap. And we got to get in bed with Marvel, and it's like Square, guys, you're not good at this whole North American stuff. I mean, the only reason you're going to be good at it with Avengers is because it's the fucking Avengers, and the fucking Avengers will sell anything. You could slap Avengers on a fucking like condom, a used condom, and people will buy it. But it just like I was like that whole conference like they began with like the best thing easily. They began with my game of the show, which was fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake.
And ended it with like
they ended it with like a big fucking fart. I'm like, oh, Avengers, yay. So final grade for Square Enix. What do you think?
I can't really bring a grade up because I didn't see the whole thing. It's just with what I saw, with what I heard, with the free bags.
I'm gonna go. I'll go with a C. Because I think
I was gonna say C+.
Maybe C+, because Final Fantasy VII Remake did look really good.
And some of the other stuff look interesting.
Everything in the first half looked interesting, and then they just went to the second half, and the second half just like nosedived. Like Outriders did not look all that impressive. They went way too long talking about the mobile stuff, which I'm just like, oh god, like get these fucking mobile games out of the damn fucking conferences. Like Microsoft had the damn Gears Pop game, Bethesda had the litany of them. Now this one's got the Final Fantasy stuff in it. It's just like, okay, I get it. People will play and spend a fuckload of money on mobile games. My god. End it already. So that was Square Enix. Square Enix just kind of came in guns a-blazing and then just forgot to bring the rest of the ammo and spent all their wad on Final Fantasy VII Remake because Avengers. And I don't understand how anyone can say Avengers like they're hyped for Avengers. Like I don't understand it. I mean, besides it being Avengers, and Avengers is not special. We've had years of Avengers. Seriously, like this is not special, guys. Final Fantasy VII Remake, that's special. That's something. Avengers, really? So anyway, that was Square Enix, and see you guys for the final one, which is going to be Nintendo. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all the next one.
Bye.
Bye.